Hello, and welcome to another episode of Advanced Yu-Gi-Oh! Where I, Riku, play competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! On Dueling Book Ranked. Today, we're taking another look at Live Twin Fiendsmith. I loved playing this deck last time. I always love playing Twin. And I wanted to take another look at it because I feel like I can play the deck better now that I know a little bit better what I am doing. And I have the ability to go back and make some small changes here and there as I need to. And, I love playing this deck so much. Any excuse to keep playing it. Not much has changed in the main deck. I've cut the effect veilers for 2 more copies of Ghost Belle and Haunted Mansion. This puts us not only down to only 42 cards in the main board, which is pretty good for our consistency, although the actual statistical changes are basically statistically irrelevant. We're talking fractions of a percent. In any case, Effect Veiler doesn't feel very good in the current metagame, and Ghost Belle and Haunted Mansion has felt extraordinarily powerful every time I've had access to it in any game. There's a contemplation to put in another copy or two of Nibiru the Primal Being, but I don't really want to go up to 44, and I don't know, Nibiru feels kind of mediocre against a lot of what the top decks in the field are up to. Beyond that, there's a couple of changes in the sideboard. We've added in a copy of Shared Ride and a copy of SCMR. The Dimensional Barrier and Mischief of the Gnomes felt not so powerful in the last time that we played them. Mischief of the Gnomes feels a little bit too narrow, and Dimensional Barrier just doesn't really do everything you want to against Mitsurugi Ryzeal. So having access to the Simmel Archfiends as our preferred target off of Triple Tactics Thrust to set is fine, and worst case scenario, you can set, of course, an Infinite Impermanence with the Thrust. No other changes beyond that. I like the extra deck where it is, and the rest of the main deck feels pretty good. We could cut down a copy of Lil-la Suite, but once again, I think having access to this in the hand and in the deck is pretty powerful to be able to use it as interaction. And I've buried the lead like crazy, but in case you haven't already watched the previous video, which you should go watch, Fiendsmith Twin is a control deck that seeks to use powerful non-engine, such as Fuwaloss, in order to control your opponent out of the game before cleaning them up with a copy of Trouble's Sunny, the Fiendsmith's Agnum Day, and other powerful extra deck cards. The deck has a pretty decent amount of staying power. The actual Live Twin loop is pretty darn powerful, and Trouble Sunny is very easy to spin back with your Fiendsmith engine. And Aboaku is just about the stickiest monster the game has ever seen. So, with that out of the way, let's get into some games. Hello, and welcome to round one of this episode. One of three of this episode of Advanced Yu-Gi-Oh! We are on the draw. Opponent is on 40 to our 42. We've opened on Sunny Snitch, Droll, Fuwaloss, called by Ash Blossom. Pretty good opening hand, if I do say so myself. Opponent is going to lead on Girsu the Orcust Mech Knight. That's an easy Ash Blossom. As far as I'm aware, that is pretty darn critical to what our opponent is up to. We will Fuwaloss in response to the Girsu so that we can draw cards after they have given us a token, and we'll see where we go from there. This Droll and Lockbird might have to carry us a little bit of a ways, but opponent is going to link off their World Legacy token for Galatea 1, the Orcust Automaton. We will draw a card off of the Fuwaloss. They're going to use the effect pitching a card to add a Babble from their deck to their hand. Pitching Symbol Skeleton is pretty scary for us. I think I value drawing more cards than cutting them off of tutoring. I don't know how much more tutoring they do. One is going to link off both of those. Yep, there is our draw. Drawing in a Ghost Belle is pretty darn nice, actually. Set one from here, activate Babble, and pass the turn. Makes sense. We'll draw for turn. Alrighty, well, let's go for the secret password first. Potentially get an Ash Blossom out of there if that's what our opponent has. If they do not, we will grab the Sunny's Snitch. We will go activate Sunny's Snitch, use the effect to tutor. Opponent is fine with that. We will grab Live Twin Ki-sikil Frost. We will go normal summon the Ki-sikil Frost. No reason to grab Live Twin Ki-sikil as we have a token on board. See if they have anything to say about Ki-sikil Deal. Looks like no. We will go Ki-sikil Deal effect, milling over the Lil-la suite. Opponent is going to chain Orcust Crescendo there. Well, that makes things interesting. We don't have anything we can do with this token. Don't have any extension out of our graveyard right now. This token being summoned was really unfortunate for us. I think we're just gonna have to set this called by and pass the turn. Opponent is presumably going to go for the symbol skeleton to summon back the Girsu, but I don't want to see that happen on my turn. And then we will pass the turn. Because our opponent opened the Crescendo, the Galatea doesn't have anything to shoot her for. Hopefully this called by and this Droll and Lockbird will be good enough. Opponent is going to make Ding Dong. Ding Dong is going to send. That is going to be fine, unfortunately. Yep, they're going to send our back row. Potentially should have activated the called by, eating our opponent's Girsu. That would have been smart. I'm not sure why I didn't do that. Just absolutely incorrect to not, because they're always sending that. Nothing else is live on our board, and they can't send the token anyways. They will link those two off for a copy of Dark the Dark Charmer. Alright, well, that does in fact get to steal a monster out of our graveyard. Opponent can go for the Dark effect to summon out our Lil-la, and then they are going to go for the Harp Horror effect, banishing it in order to special summon an Orcust monster from their deck. Opponent is going to summon a Girsu the Orcust Mech Knight, trigger the effect of the Girsu in order to send an Orcust or World Legacy from their deck to the graveyard. They're going to send Orcust Nightmare. They will link all three of those off to make a Boral Sword Dragon. Been a hot minute since I've seen that card. Interesting that this is their OTK enabler of choice, although I guess Access Code Talker is probably not as good for them because it will only ever have darks to banish, so a pop 1 isn't exactly huge. But this Boral Sword Dragon does not, in fact, represent lethal, so our opponent is going to punch over the token that they gave us, and there is the Orcust Nightmare. That is fine. They're going to bin an Orcust monster. Right, the Orchestrated Babble does in fact make the math a little bit funky. So they will then go for the Symbol Skeleton in order to summon back the Ding Dong. Ding Dong is going to punch for 2600. And then the Boral Sword Dragon can change the Ding Dong to defense position in order to give it a second attack. And then they can punch for a total of 3300 with the Boral Sword Dragon. That is fine. We'll take 3300. Still not quite lethal. We do have another copy of Sunny's Snitch. That should be all we need because we've got this Lil-la suite in the graveyard. Opponent's going to go for another Galatea. Interesting enough choice. They have a Mitsurugi Prayers. Oh my goodness, everybody's playing these cards. Let's see what our opponent goes for here. They're going to go grab an Ame no Habakiri, and we will go Droll and Lockbird. Don't want our opponent to be getting any more tutoring off, because then that just means that they get into the Mitsurugi line as well. It also turns off their Crescendo as a tutor enabler. Mitsurugi in Orcust is really upsetting, although I understand why it's in there. That's fine. Opponent is going to go for Galatea, spin back the Symbol Skeleton in order to set presumably another Crescendo from their deck. I don't see why they would be playing literally anything else. Oh, to set literally nothing, just to recycle. That is an unfortunate top deck. Did not really want to see Lacrima in hand. Alright, our opponent has exactly one unknown in their hand, so let's go Sunny's Snitch. And hopefully this allows us to just go through the entire line. I think we want to go for Live Twin Ki-sikil here. We already have the Ki-sikil Frost in rotation, and so we don't need to do anything else. All right, we will go link these two into. Do they have any Orcust effects? They've got Crescendo, which can tutor. They've got Galatea 1, which can summon itself. The Galatea on board can spin back something, and that is it. Okay. I believe we do still want to pop this Babble, so we will link these two into Evil Twin Lil-la, and then we will go for Lil-la effect in order to summon back the Live Twin Ki-sikil, and then we will link both of these off for the Evil Twin Ki-sikil, and we will go Evil Twin Ki-sikil effect. Summon back the Evil Twin Lil-la, trigger the effect of the Lil-la, pop the Orchestrated Babble. Interesting that they chose to not activate the effect of the Galatea. On resolution, our opponent has something. They're going to go for Nibiru, the Primal Being. That sucks. That sucks big time. We get a large-ish token, and what can we do from here? Not much, to be honest. We've already used our normal summon. Might as well activate this secret password while we've got it. But our opponent does just have lethal basically face up on board. This token is 0 defense. Yeah, that blows. I think we can probably just scoop here. They've got the Mitsurugi line, which will get them into Ame no Urakamo, and then I'm just dead. So yeah, we'll scoop here. Opponent's on Mitsurugi and Orcust, so we want these SCMRs. We definitely want Simul Archfiends. Definitely want these thrusts, and we want anything else. I don't think we want Shared Ride. Lancia is pretty darn nice here. We can cut these Drolls, we can cut the Fuwalosses. Do I care about Nibiru the Primal Being? Opponent is on Nibiru. Bystials are nuts here. Imperm is fine. Ugh, so many cuts to try and find. I think we're good cutting the Nibiru. We can cut copies of... I think we have to cut Infid, just for more effective interaction. Let's see how we do on the play this time. Hopefully our opening hand is a little bit better than it was last time. This hand is pretty spicy, I must say. Up in the standby phase, our opponent has an effect. They're going to go Fuwaloss. We're going to go Called By, targeting the Fuwaloss. Wool Beans. Well, now that we've got a 4-card hand, and our opponent has thrusted, or put themselves into the thrust zone for us, we'll go normal summon the Ki-sikil Frost. We will link off the Ki-sikil Frost, make the Evil Twin Ki-sikil deal. We will go Evil Twin Ki-sikil deal in order to dump the Lil-la Suite. We will go, opponent needs a moment. Opponent is going to go Druiswurm on our Lil-la Suite. That kind of blows, but that's okay. They've got a Druiswurm now. We do have access to Tract. We've got Evil Twin Ki-sikil deal on board. We can just link off this Ki-sikil deal into the Requiem, and that should be pretty good for us. So yeah, let's go for that. We'll go make Requiem. We will go Requiem effect in order to special summon the Lacrima from our deck. Opponent is telling us they have no more interaction. Once again, do not advise telling your opponent you do not have any interaction, though I can understand why one would want to do that. We'll go for the Engraver, spin back, deal. Now the question is, do I think Wave Hiking Caesar is going to be better, or do I think Desiree is going to be better? I think Wave Hiking Caesar is obviously just better here. We will go... What does Necrokip say? If a monster is sent from the hand of the bearer to activate, and Tract is not to activate, so we will go Requiem, targeting our Lacrima, equipping it. We will send both of these off. For a copy of Necroquip, we will overlay these two into a copy of DDD Wave Hiking Caesar. And then we will go for a triple tactics thrust. Thrust is going to grab us probably just Simul Archfiends. If we were playing the other Lil-la, which there is an argument to be made for that, we could have used that to continue going through our Live Twin line, and in fact probably should be in the deck. Didn't consider that, so yeah, in this case, or we could hand loop our opponent. Do I think hand looping my opponent is going to be more impactful than Simul Archfiends? I think it probably is. Yeah, let's go for Triple Tactics Talent, and we will go Talent to hand loop. Opponent's hand looks pretty lackluster. We're going to send back the Ame no Habakiri no Mitsurugi. They've got a World Wand and a Symbol Skeleton in hand. I will try to remember that. We will set this SCMR and move to the end phase and pass the turn on over to our opponent. Opponent is going to normal summon Orcust Symbol Skeleton, and they're going to link off the Symbol Skeleton to make the Galatea 1. Let's see what they pitch. Let me read this card. You can banish it and target banished. Okay. We will chain SCMR targeting Symbol Skeleton. So we will summon the Symbol Skeleton to our board, and opponent will grab a copy of Babel. Opponent is going to switch the Druiswurm to attack position, punch over the Symbol Skeleton, and move on over into the second main phase. They will link off those two monsters. In order to make Galatea the Orcust automaton, they will trigger the Druiswurm, sending our Wave High King Caesar. That is unfortunately going to be fine. We do still have access to this Lacrima in order to send a card our opponent controls to the graveyard. We will see our opponent is going to go for Symbol Skeleton. That is fine. They'll summon back the Galatea 1, the Orcust automaton. Then they will go for World Legacy World Wand in order to special summon back the Symbol Skeleton. Interested to see where they go with this. Opponent is going to go Galatea, spinning back their World Wand in order to set a Orcust back row from their deck. That's fine. So they've got a Crescendo, and so now the question I have to ask myself is, do I think it is easier to punch through a Crescendo or punch through a Harp Horror? Like, do I want to give my opponent a Harp Horror, which they can't normal summon right now, which is an advantage that we have, or do I think I can play through a Crescendo? Opponent is going to make dark on summon. Think. What dark monsters do we even have? I guess we've got this Necroquip. I mean, that's fine. I don't think that matters. I mean, they just turned 3 link material into 3 link material that steals our Necroquip, which isn't something that we need anymore. Okay, yeah, Dark is totally fine, don't care. They will activate the effect of Dark the Dark Charmer Gloomy, that's fine. They're gonna steal our Necroquip Princess, summon it to one of Dark's zones. Then they will link off all 3 of those to make a copy of Enlin Girsu the Orcust Mech Knight. At end of main, we're going to go for Lacrima the Crimson Tears to target the Requiem. Still in main, we will go Requiem effect in order to summon the Lacrima from our deck. Lacrima will trigger to send the Fiendsmith in Paradise, and we will go for... we should have done that sooner. I'm just a little bit dumb. Alright, draw for turn. Why did I think that you could just trigger Fiendsmith in Paradise for free? I'm not sure. Now we can go for Fiendsmith's Tract and see where that takes us. Interesting that they are fine with that. We will tutor the Lurrie, discard the Lurrie, trigger the effect of the Lurrie. So we can go for Fiendsmith's Sequence, but we know that that's just going to get eaten by Crescendo. Nothing to do but to keep trying, keep chugging along. Let's go for the Fiendsmith's Sequence. See what opponent has to say about that. Looks like they do not have anything. Let's go Sequence Effect in order to Fusion Summon. Opponent's going to instantly snap off the Crescendo, and the sequence gets banished. Alright, from here, we can go for Engraver, Spin Back, Lacrima, Engraver, Equip, Requiem. Yeah, that's what we have to do. Does this spin back for cost? Yes, it does. We will go Engraver, put back the Lurrie, special summon out the Engraver, and we will go Requiem effect targeting the Engraver. Opponent is fine with that. Presumably on resolution, they're going to use the effect of the Symbol Skeleton in their graveyard to reanimate. Nope, they're going to use Galatea 1, the Orcust automaton. That's fine too. They're then going to go Enlin Girsu in order to add back the Crescendo, which they're going to spin back into the deck in order to take control of my Fiendsmith's Engraver. I was meant to trigger Fiendsmith in Paradise. I'm entirely out of extension at this point, and didn't top deck anything useful, so that's just going to be game. Played kind of poorly there. Just a lot of minor mistakes that kind of cascaded into pretty bad loss, but, you know, those things are going to happen. We live and we learn. I need to remember that Fiendsmith in Paradise, in fact, is a triggered effect out of the graveyard, not an ignition effect out of the graveyard. Can you imagine how much more busted that card would be if it was an ignition effect? Good lord. But yeah, I should have had access to that. We should have been able to send off the Enlin Girsu and turn off their Crescendo. And then from there, it should be pretty damn easy to win. But I will see you in round 2. And welcome to round 2 of 3 of this episode of Advanced Yu-Gi-Oh! We have lost the RPS, and we will be put on the draw. Our opponent is on 49 to our 42. Our opening hand is Druiswurm, Tract, Live Twin Ki-sikil, Droll and Lockbird, Called by the Grave. Pretty good hand, I must say. Big fan of what's going on here. 49 cards is really interesting out of our opponent. This tells me that they're probably playing a engine pile sort of deck. Most of the current decks in the format are playing pretty darn close to 40 cards because you got to play tight consistency packages. You have to be finding your one-card starters and multiple pieces of hand trap in based interaction. So be interested to see where they go with this. Opponent is going to go normal summon Skullcrabat Joker. That's fine. On resolution, we're going to get to Droll and Lockbird, our opponent, and that is probably going to be functionally the end of the game, just right there. So I was right in this being a engine or being a pile type deck. This looks like Pendulum slop of some sort, and I mean, Droll and Lockbird is just so disgusting right here. This is probably the point where it is exactly the most effective it can possibly be. I'm just interested to see if it does actually end their turn. Probably means this Druiswurm is not going to be online, but that's ultimately going to be fine. I don't think we necessarily need access to Druiswurm with what our opponent has going on. Opponent is going to add Odd Eyes Revolution Dragon, and we will Droll and Lockbird them. Odd Eyes Revolution Dragon is another tutor, so that's a bit of an unfortunate thing for them to have been tutoring. Opponent is going to scale a Supreme King Gate 0. It looks like they're probably just going to be Pendulum summoning a few dudes and maybe making a Link monster and passing from there. They will also scale Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum Dragon. Interesting. I didn't realize that was a card that this deck played. This looks less like Pendulum Slop and more like Zark Turbo, although the two are basically the same deck, so I guess that is kind of likely. Opponent is going to Pendulum summon out Supreme King Gate Magician. That is another tutor on summon. Looks like that is their only summon off of the Pendulum summon, so not really much they can expect to do from there. Alright, pass the turn to us. We will draw for turn. Drawing into Engraver is not exactly what I wanted to see, but it could be better. Or, sorry, better. Worse, I suppose. Opponent telling us they have no interaction, that is, as I have said multiple times today, to basically no avail. Ooh, words are not wording. That is not an advisable thing to be doing. We are gonna go for Evil Twin Ki-sikil. Go Ki-sikil, summon back the Lil-la. We're going to link off the Lil-la and the Ki-sikil, summon the Evil Twin Lil-la. We will go for the Evil Twin Lil-la effect. Summon back the Evil Twin Ki-sikil, Evil Twin Ki-sikil, draw us a card. Ghost Belle is not useful right now. We will go Lil-la Sweet to summon her back out of the graveyard. We will link both of these off for a copy of Evil Twin Trouble's Sunny. We will then... Do I want to link off Trouble's Sunny? There's no reason to. I've got a Fiendsmith's Tract in my hand. Yeah, let's just go for Tract. Tract is going to grab Lurrie, pitch the Lurrie, trigger the Lurrie, and that will be the Fiendsmith line gone into. We will link off the Lurrie, make the Requiem, go for the Requiem effect, special summon out of our deck a copy of Lacrima of the Crimson Tears, trigger the effect of the Lacrima. Lacrima is going to send an Engraver. I believe that what we want to be doing here is going for an Aboaku line. Alternatively, I could go summon back the Engraver, equip the Requiem, send off the Engraver and the Requiem for a Necroquip, make a Chaos Angel to banish the Supreme King Gate Magician. Does that seem like a good idea? I don't think that probably is. I think we're supposed to be going for an Agnum Day line just to find lethal here. So yeah, we'll do that. We'll go Engraver, spin back Lurrie, summon back the Engraver. We will go Requiem to equip. We will go Engraver, target the Requiem and their Supreme King Gate Magician to pop them both. Setting off the Requiem and the Gate Magician. We will link off the Engraver and the Lacrima, make a copy of Sequence. We will go Sequence effect in order to fusion summon. We'll spin back 1, 2, 3, shuffle to fusion summon the Fiendsmith's Desiree. How does Agnamde work? I've completely forgotten. Effect, you can target a light non-link fiend in your graveyard, special summon it, and if you do equip this card you control to that monster as an equip spell with the following effects. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so we will link off the sequence and the Desiree for a copy of Fiendsmith's Agnamde. Is there any further extension I can be doing? Do I get more damage by punching with Trouble Sunny first? Almost certainly. Do I have lethal is the question. It'll be gaining 1800 attack, which puts it at 4600. 46, 22, that's 68 plus the amount from Trouble Sunny. Unfortunately, a Boaku is during the main phase only. I mean, it would be preposterous for it to not be. Oh, we've got this Druiswurm. Yeah, we'll go Druiswurm targeting our Ki-sikil, banishing it to special summon it in attack position. We'll go end main, go combat. We will punch Trouble Sunny over the Skullcrabat Joker, which is 1500 damage. Yep, we'll attack, and we will go Agnamde effect, targeting the Desiree to summon back the Desiree, equipping the Agnamde, and punching in for well over lethal. So that was not even particularly close. Alright. Opponent is on Pendulum. We want Lightning Storm, we want Duster. Do we want anything else out of the board? Well, I do not want either of these Ghost Bells, or any of these Ghost Bells. I don't want the Bystials, so I guess we're putting in Dust? That makes sense to me. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else we want to side out. Talent seems fine, Imperm seems fine. Yeah, the rest of this seems fine. Alright, well, it probably will not be as easy as it was last game, because, I mean, Droll and Lockbird is not going to be in every opening hand, but this is a pretty good matchup for us, quite positive, largely, and we've opened really, really terribly, I must say. Holy cow, this is a terrible opener. We've got an Infib and no other interaction. 2 Lil-la Suite, a Live Twin Lil-la, and a Live Twin Ki-sikil Frost. Hopefully this can take us as far as we need to go, because boy oh boy is this Infib going to have to go places. As a general PSA, because this opponent is doing quite a bit of this, yapping in chat is fine. That's what it is there for, to be able to communicate. But just spending minutes upon minutes, complaining about a card and not playing the game is unsportsmanlike. I understand, like, certain aspects of this game are frustrating. My opponent is very clearly frustrated about Droll and Lockbird and is upset about it and such, but that is no excuse to just not be playing the game and sitting holding your opponent hostage, doing nothing. That's not useful to you, it's not useful to your opponent. Just please don't do that. It's disrespectful. Opponent is going to lead on Dragon Shrine. That's fine. This is going to send the Dragon Pendulum that summons itself out of the graveyard. The Supreme King, whatever it is. Supreme King Darkworm? I don't remember. Pendulum names escape me routinely. Just free extend out of the graveyard if you have no bodies on board. Pretty powerful card. Obviously not something we can interact with. That is the argument to leave the Ghost Spells in, but Ghost Spell is just not very good, to be honest. Yeah, so I was correct. It is Supreme King Dragon Darkworm. They're going to go Darkworm effect in order to special summon it back out of the graveyard, and they will presumably go for Darkworm to tutor. That is fine, don't care. That is not where my Infirm needs to be going. They're going to tutor for Supreme King Gate 0, and we will see where they go from there. Opponent is going to scale the Supreme King Gate 0 and Supreme King Gate Infinity. Well, that's pretty powerful. Although Infinity does not mean, or does mean, that they cannot Pendulum summon right now, though I have no idea. They're going to activate the effect. Oh, right, yeah. They're going to activate the effect of the Gate 0 to pop both their pen scales to add Polymerization spell or a Fusion spell from their deck to their hand. Opponent is going to add Instant Fusion from their deck to their hand. That's interesting. I wonder what they're instant fusing off into. Opponent is going to activate the Instant Fusion, paying 1,000 life points to special summon a copy of Predaplant Ambulo Melodies from their extra deck. They will trigger the effect of the Ambulo, and this is where our Imperm is going. I do not want them to tutor for a plant monster. This would grab Orphis Scorpio to grab, or not Orphis Scorpio, Orphis Scorpio is correct. Orphis Scorpio, which would summon Darlingtonia Cobra out of their deck, which tutors for another thing, and that's a whole mess of basically infinite materials. And Pendulum is one of the few decks that can actually take advantage of having just gobs upon gobs of material at its disposal. Opponent is going to link off both of their monsters into a copy of Beyond the Pendulum. They will go for the Beyond the Pendulum effect, paying 1,200 life points in order to tutor for a Pendulum monster. Opponent is going to tutor for a Supreme King Gate Magician. They're going to activate Wings of Light to tutor for a Supreme King Dragon or Supreme King Gate Pendulum monster. You're going to grab, once again, Supreme King Gate 0. Interesting to have just grabbed 2 low scales. They're going to scale the Supreme King Gate 0 and the Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum Dragon. Going to activate Supreme King Gate Magician in order to special summon it. That's right. Is that what that does? I have no idea. I've never read any of these cards a day in my life. Binning a Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. Yes, in order to special summon it. They're going to trigger the effect in order to tutor for a card that mentions Supreme King Zark, except for a spellcaster, which I presume is just Supreme King Gate Magician, although there's one other one, I think, that mentions Zark. They're going to grab Pendulum Evolution. That's pretty good, I must say. But oh my gosh, this deck is just tutor, 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 tutor. I mean, that is what Pendulum ends up doing at this point in the game, but boy, is it lame and uninteresting card design. Opponent is, from here, going to Pendulum Summon. You summon out the Gate 0, the Gate Infinity, and it looks like that is all. Interesting. Presumably the next thing they go for is an Exceed the Pendulum, or they overlay for an Exceeds Dragon monster to be able to get to Zark more easily. Yep, there's the Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon. That is not an Exceeds Dragon, but it does let them get to an Omni Negate by just linking it off. Link off the Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon and Beyond the Pendulum to make a copy of IPU. Hello! Opponent is going to activate the Pendulum Evolution. This allows them to get a bonus Pendulum. So interesting. If they've summoned a Pendulum from the face down extra deck. Gotcha. Okay. That's an interesting card, I must say. Opponent will link off the Supreme King Gate Magician and the Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon for a copy of IP Masquerena, trigger the effect of the Absolute Dragon in order to special summon an Odd Eyes monster from their extra deck. They are going to summon out the Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon, which is an Omni Negate by spinning back the Supreme King Gate Magician. This board is pretty lackluster. Alright, well, draw for turn. That is a pretty unfortunate draw, I must say. We will go standby main, and let's lead on Live Twin Lil-la. Live Twin Lil-la effect in order to special summon. Opponent is fine with that. We will summon back out the Live Twin Ki-sikil, and then we will link both of these off for... no, not link both of them off. Let's link off the Live Twin Ki-sikil to make Evil Twin Ki-sikil deal. Do we have... we can't even bin with Ki-sikil deal. Oh my gosh, I'm just misplaying out the wazoo. Whatever. Link off both of these, make the Evil Twin Ki-sikil, and we will go for Evil Twin Ki-sikil effect in order to summon back a Lil-la. The going through deal and then not using the effect should telegraph immediately to our opponent that we do not have, or that we have access to the Live Twin Lil-la suite in our hand. Alright, let's go Evil Twin Lil-la to special summon back the Evil Twin Ki-sikil, which will draw us a card. Yep, let's go Ki-sikil, draw. There is a Live Twin Ki-sikil Frost. Let's actually summon this out. It's a free body, and there's no reason not to. Having more material is more better. We'll link off both of these into a copy of Trouble's Sunny, and then we can go Trouble's Sunny effect in order to special summon back a couple of dudes. Opponent is going to think here. Do not blame them. Lil-la Suite is only in response to a Live Twin activation? What the heck? This card's terrible. Yeah, that's gonna be fine. Right. This card is really terrible. That's a lot worse than I thought it was. And with no access to the little line, and because I went through Ki-sikil deal, yeah, I'm just gonna scoop here. I don't want to just sit through and slog through some more of that. Alright, what are we siding out? Obviously gotta get rid of the Fuwalosses, get rid of the Lightning Storm. Duster can become a Ghost Belle, because that has actual text in the matchup. SCMR doesn't matter, and Lancia doesn't matter, and that Bystials definitely do not matter. So we will be done siding. Yeah, that was a colossal series of misplays. With the Ki-sikil Frost in hand, I should have held off on the Ki-sikil Deal so that I could have gone through a Fiendsmith line. Although, to be fair, the Fiendsmith line wouldn't have actually managed anything because our opponent could IP into a copy of SP Little Knight. And alright, we will be on the play this time. Alright, opening hand looks pretty solid. Let's go standby main. We will go normal summon live twin Ki-sikil. Ki-sikil will summon a Lil-la from our deck. Let's summon out the live twin Lil-la. Link off the Ki-sikil into live evil twin Ki-sikil Deal. We will go Ki-sikil Deal effect, binning Lil-la Sweet. And then we will go link these two into Evil Twin Ki-sikil. We will go Evil Twin Ki-sikil to revive a Lil-la. We will link off the Lil-la and the Ki-sikil into an Evil Twin Lil-la. We will go Evil Twin Lil-la to summon back the Evil Twin Ki-sikil. And then we will go Evil Twin Ki-sikil in order to draw a card. That's pretty good. And by pretty good, I mean it's actually just completely terrible. We will go Lil-la Sweet, summon herself back out of the graveyard, link off both of these for a copy of Trouble's Sunny. We will go Trouble's Sunny to reanimate, summon back Evil Ki-sikil, Evil Lil-la, and then we will link off the Evil Twin Ki-sikil for a copy of Fiendsmith's Requiem. We will go Requiem to summon Lacrima. Go Lacrima, dump an Engraver into the graveyard. We'll go Engraver, spin back Deal, summon out the Engraver. Let's see, we need to get into a Boaku. I think we just link these two off for sequence for Desiree, sequence and Lil-la for a Boaku. Yeah, okay. We'll go link these two, make sequence, make Desiree, and back 1, 2, 3. We will make our Desiree, sequence, and Lil-la into Boaku. We will go sequence, targeting Desiree to equip, and then we will go a Boaku, pitching this Thrust to banish and special summon back the Trouble's Sunny, and then I have nothing to do with this live twin Lil-la Sweet that is sitting on board. I think if I'd gone through Muckraker, I maybe could have done a little bit more. Maybe I could have gotten into a high Wave Hiking Caesar, but I don't think so. I don't know. I really have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just kind of balling it. Oh, Muckraker can't be used as link material, never mind. And then we will set this infib, and we will move to our end step, get back the Boaku, and pass the turn. Opponent will draw for turn. Alright, after some pretty substantive lag, it looks like the game can now resume. Opponent is confused as to where Caesar is. Caesar is not part of your usual end board with this deck. And also of note, going into Caesar, into Pendulum, doesn't make much sense at all. There are exactly like 2 or 3 effects that special summon a monster that are a card effect, and the things that you actually want to be hitting are the Pendulum summons, and obviously you can't do that with Caesar. Opponent is going to go for a Dragon Shrine. That is fine. Hilariously enough, we do have the one of Ghost Belle in order to negate this. Our opponent appears to be having some connectivity issues, much like we were earlier. Dueling Book has been really unstable today. X7 maybe is doing something to the servers, possibly? No idea, though. I mean, average day on DB getting disconnected and having to reconnect a million times. And our opponent has quit the duel. Well, okay, so as much as it sucks to not get to play out the game 3, this was going to be a pretty easy win. We've got Pop by pitching this Ki-sikil. We've got a negate 2 cards on board, which is something that's relevant with Pendulum relatively routinely. We've got an infib. We've got Trouble Sunny, which is going to draw us another card, and which would be Engraver, which isn't particularly useful, but draw us another card and pop a card our opponent controls. Again, important with Pendulum. This Lil-la Sweet kind of sucks to have sitting on board, but it's whatever. We have the Droll and Lockbird to completely demolish our opponent because, as we saw in Game 2, they do a lot of tutoring. And, of course, the one of Ghost Belle to interact with the Dark Worm that they were just about to send. So that was a pretty interesting match, I guess. And I will see you in round 3. And welcome to round 3 of this episode of Advanced Yu-Gi-Oh! We have won the RPS and we are on the play. Opponent is on 42 hour 42. We have opened on Ki-sikil Frost, Fuwaloss, Lil-la, Secret Password, and Fiendsmith in Paradise. Not exactly the best hand, but it's something that we can work with. Let's go Live Twin Lil-la effect. Opponent is going to effect Veiler there. That is fine. We do not care at all. Let's go for Secret Password in order to tutor for the Trouble's Sunny, or Sunny's Snitch. Trouble's Sunny is the extra deck monster. I always get those two flipped around in my head. And then let's go for the Sunny's Snitch to tutor for, we're going to tutor for another copy of Ki-sikil Frost. There's an argument to be made to have tutored for Lil-la Sweet, but then our opponent just doesn't go for the effect Veiler on the Live Twin Lil-la and goes for it elsewhere, and that's not exactly ideal. We'll summon out the Live Twin Ki-sikil Frost. We will link off for a copy of Evil Twin Ki-sikil Deal. We will then go Deal effect to mill over the Lil-la Sweet, and then we will link these two off into, of course, the Evil Twin Ki-sikil. From here, let's go Evil Twin Ki-sikil in order to special summon back the Live Twin Lil-la. I think our opponent probably has a Bystial just based off of this reaction to the effect of Evil Twin Ki-sikil. I'm not entirely certain that there is much we could do about that, and our opponent hits us with the Nibiru. That kind of blows. All right, well, we have a tiny token and nothing. We can't even Fuwaloss our opponent because we have a Sunny Snitch on board. So this token is a 1600/0. Well, we've got a Ki-sikil Frost in hand and a Dream. So let's pass the turn. Opponent is going to go Tidal, Dragon Ruler of Waterfalls, pitching it and a copy of Crystron Fraziordal. Ah, yes, Crystron. Okay. This deck is going to OTK us, but I'm going to let them combo out a little bit, see if they're up to anything beyond Crystron. Title is pretty stock standard. There's this Thistfern. Thistfern can be banished to tutor for a Crystron monster. Off of the Thistfern, they'll grab the Tristaros. They will normal summon Crystron Tristaros, and they will go Crystron Inclusion to tutor for a Crystron monster. So they've just drawn absolutely everything. Opponent doesn't need to show us anything else in order to OTK. So from here, I'm just happy to hit Concede and move on to the next game. We'll be on the play once again. I believe we want the Symbol Archfiends, the Thrusts, and we do not need the Fuwalosses, and we can probably cut a... no, not Ghost Spell. We can cut the Druiswurm, I think. Magnamhut, no. Magnamhut is worse than Druiswurm because we do not have any other dragons. I don't think we care about shared... do we care about shared ride, actually? Is it going to be better than Ghost Spell is the question. I think it might be better than Ghost Spell. Yeah, we're gonna go for shared ride, and let's see how this goes. All right. Opening hand looks pretty decent. We've got access to all of our engines. Drawing the Engraver is nice. Droll with the shared ride is a little bit unfortunate. I think we want to go for the Live Twin Ki-sikil, and let's go up, and our opponent has hit us with the Droll and Lockbird. That is fine. That means that our Fiendsmith engine is going to be slightly worse because we can't just go for an Engraver line, but ultimately that doesn't really matter too particularly much. I believe here we want to summon the Live Twin Lil-la, and then let's link off these two for the Evil Twin Ki-sikil. And then let's go Evil Twin Ki-sikil effect, summon back the Lil-la. Our opponent is going to hit us with an Imperm. Yeah. Okay, that was really stupid of me. But yeah, the Imperm is fine. So we're gonna have to, we should have gone through the Ki-sikil deal first, but obviously I didn't think to do that, so instead we're gonna go for Fiendsmith's Requiem, and we'll go Requiem effect. Itelli out a copy of the Lacrima of Crimson with the Lacrima the Crimson Tears. Trigger the effect of the Lacrima to bin over an Engraver. We'll go Engraver effect, spin back the Ki-sikil, summon back the Engraver. Now versus Crystron, do I want Desiree more, or do I want Wave Hiking Caesar more? Well, if I go into Desiree, I can have a Desiree with an Agnum Day. That seems a little bit better. Wait, can I get to a Boaku, actually? I don't think I quite can. It's close, but I don't think I can. Yeah, because we'd go link those two off, make sequence, summon back, shuffle back, make Desiree, link them both off for Agnum Day, and then, yeah, this doesn't work. Okay. Alright, we're gonna go for effect of Requiem, targeting our Lacrima. We will send these two off, make Necroquip, overlay these two, make the Wave Hiking Caesar, set the shared ride. The conflict with Droll and Lockbird is quite unfortunate, and then nothing to do but pass the turn there. Opponent will draw for turn, see where they go from there. I'm not sure if the density of hand traps in our deck is quite high enough to warrant going for Shared Ride over Droll and Lockbird. I think it largely depends on how my opponent goes for stuff. Opponent's going to go normal summon Crystron Tristeros. The normal summon is going to be fine. They're going to set a back row and pass the turn. Oh, that's not what I was expecting at all. All right, let's go standby into the main phase. What do I think that set card is? What the heck could it be that? Well, let's go for Engraver. Engraver tutor for opponent is going to use the effect of Tristeros. Right, yes, to synchro summon. We are going to go Wave Hiking Caesar to negate and destroy that. Opponent is going to effect Veiler the Wave Hiking Caesar, and that is going to be fine. Interesting. All right, well, Tristeros is going to summon out a Sulfidor and then sync those two off into a 7. Opponent is going to make Eleskeletus. We will grab our Fiendsmith's Tract, and opponent is going to trigger Eleskeletus. Let's go Shared Ride here to draw a card off of this. Okay, there's the Shared Ride. The Eleskeletus will trigger. They will add back, presumably, the Tristeros. We will draw a card. Okay, Ash Blossom is pretty good. Let's go Fiendsmith's Tract. Tract will grab us a copy Lurrie, and then we will discard the Lurrie. We will trigger the effect of the Lurrie to special summon it, and then I gotta think from here. Making Requiem doesn't matter. I believe what we want to do, actually, is... I haven't used my normal summon yet. Interesting. I can go Secret Password, tutor for another Sunny Snitch, tutor for a Ki-sikil Frost, normal summon Frost, and then I've got the entire win line, and I can pop their back row. Just don't know what it is. It's Christine. Add a Crystron card from your... Destroyed by battle or card affecting special summon a Crystron monster from your graveyard or banishment. Interesting. Alright, let's go Secret Password. Secret Password is going to grab us a copy of Sunny Snitch. We will go Sunny Snitch effect to tutor. We will tutor for a copy of Ki-sikil Frost. We will go normal summon the Ki-sikil Frost, and let's link off the Ki-sikil Frost for a copy of Evil Twin Ki-sikil Deal. We will go Ki-sikil Deal effect to mill over a copy of Lil-la Sweet. So now I've got, our opponent has thoughts on resolution. Interested to see what this could lead to. They're gonna go Crystron Cluster. They're gonna pop the Wave Hiking Caesar and the Evil Twin Ki-sikil Deal. That kind of blows, doesn't it? I don't think there's anything I can do about that, so off they go. We'll shuffle back the Sulfidor. That means that this Eleskeletus is not going to do anything. No, it is. It can revive itself. Okay, well, from here, can I get to a Boaku? That is, once again, the question of the day. We can go Engraver, spin back, deal, summon Engraver. We can go link those two off, make sequence, yeah. Or I can go Druiswurm, summon Druiswurm by banishing their effect Veiler, make the sequence can spin back Engraver, Lacrima, Requiem, make the thing, go for a Boaku. Yeah, that seems better, actually. Alright, let's go Druiswurm, targeting their effect Veiler. Okay, summon out the Druiswurm. Druiswurm does in fact get to send off this Eleskeletus as well, which is huge, if that's what we want to be doing. Let's link these two off. Let's go for a copy of Sequence, trigger the effect of the Druiswurm to send the Eleskeletus. Let's go Sequence effect to Fusion Summon. Let's spin back, gotta spin back an Engraver. I believe we want to spin back the Requiem and the Lacrima? No, the Lurrie and the Ki-sikil Deal. And we will make Fiendsmith's Desiree. Then we can link those off for Agnum Day, if that's what we want. But then we're just putting Agnum Day in the graveyard and not getting any value out of it, which seems like not the right choice because we're trying to get into a Boaku. If we go a Boaku, pitch, summon back a Ki-sikil, yeah, okay. So let's go for the Engraver, spinning back the Requiem in order to special summon it. Summon out the Engraver. Do I have lethal just by punching, actually? If I make Agnum Day. Yeah, I think I do. Wait, hold up. I should have summoned this Engraver in attack position. That was dumb. And I should have spun back the Lacrima. If we link those two off, make Agnum Day. Punch for 18, Agnum Day. Yeah, if I'd summoned this in attack, we had lethal. Wolf. Okay, well, In any case, we're gonna go link all three of these off, make the Boaku, and then let's go a Boaku, pitch this Droll and Lockbird to summon, banish the Boaku, summon back the live twin Ki-sikil. Opponent says that they're experiencing lag. Crazy! Dueling Book causing people to experience lag? No way. Would have never imagined that would happen. Let's link these both off, make our copy of... Do we want to make Ki-sikil or Lil-la first? I think we want to make Lil-la. I don't think we care about anything else. Let's go Lil-la effect to summon back a Ki-sikil. We will link off the Ki-sikil and the Lil-la. We will make a Ki-sikil, and then we'll go Ki-sikil to summon back the Lil-la, and Lil-la will pop the Crystron cluster. And then we will link these two off for a copy of Trouble's Sunny. We'll go right to the battle phase and punch for 33. Okay, main 2, and I think we're just moving right into the end phase, grabbing back a Boaku and passing. We've got 2 pops, and yep, that was more than enough to beat our opponent. Let's go. Put away these grab back these Fuwalosses, side out these shared rides, and what else do we want from here? Do we want anything else? Do I think that Simul Archfiends isn't something that we need? I think I like Ghost Belle over Simul Archfiends. Actually, Ghost Belle is pretty good into their mainline combo. We can lose an Imperm and the Crossout Designator for that. Yeah, we are done siding. We will be on the draw for Game 3. Opening hand is Lil-la Sweet, Ki-sikil Frost, Droll and Lockbird, Secret Password, and Fuwaloss. The frequency with which I open Fuwaloss and Droll and Lockbird is completely preposterous, I must say. Opponent is going to go for Inclusion. That is fine. Depending on what they grab, I think we might just Droll and Lockbird here. They're gonna go for Sulfador. Yeah, we're just gonna go for the Droll and Lockbird. Go straight for the money. Hope that that stifles what our opponent is doing. It's been a hot minute since I've played Crystron, so I don't remember exactly how the deck plays to know if Droll and Lockbird is the most effective thing to be doing or if Fuwaloss would be better there. They're going to go for the Sulfador. Sulfador is fine. They're going to dump 2 Crystron cards with different names. Now, normally this would be sending a Thistfern and a Sulfefnir? No, not Sulfefnir. Sulfefnir is the other summon. Thistfern and the Spell Trap Tutor, but they can't do that. They're sending a Sulfefnir and a Cluster instead. They'll go Sulfefnir effect to pitch a Crystron Smyger in order to special summon it in defense position. Then pop the Sulfefnir. They will trigger the effect of the Sulfefnir in order to E-Telly. Off of the Sulfefnir, they'll grab a Crystron Tristaros, and then they will trigger the effect of the Crystron Tristaros, or not trigger the effect. They will sync off, making Eleskeletus. They'll trigger the effect of the Crystron Eleskeletus in order to add back the cluster from their graveyard, and then they will go Tristaros, banishing it to pop a Synchro monster and E-Telly 2 Crystron monsters from their deck. This will trigger the Eleskeletus in order to reanimate itself. They'll grab out the Sulfefnir and the Tristaros again from the deck. Trigger the effect of the Eleskeletus, that is fine. Summoning back a Sulfefnir, interesting. They will overlay the Sulfefnirs to make a Cyber Dragon Nova, and then they will overlay the Nova into a copy of Cyber Dragon Infinity. Makes sense. So they've got the Tristaros, which can quick sync into an Eleskeletus. They've got a Monster Negate and 2 back row, one of which is Crystron Cluster. Let's draw for turn. Beautiful timing. That would have been very nice previously. Let's go for Secret Password. See what our opponent has to say about this. They're going to go for the Crystron Tristaros in order to Synchro Summon. Unfortunately, Secret Password does mean that I have a card on board, so I cannot Fuwaloss my opponent. I probably am meant to Fuwaloss my opponent before that, before I activate the Secret Password, actually, just given what the deck is. Let's go for the Live Twin Sunny's Snitch, which will immediately get eaten by the Dawn Dragster. Dawn Dragster is now level 7. We'll go normal summon, Ki-sikil Frost. Wow, this is quite the unfortunate setup, isn't it? Alright, let's go for the Evil Twin Ki-sikil deal. Our opponent should, on summon of this, just go for the cluster. Yep, there's the cluster. Yep, that will pop the Ki-sikil deal, and they're going to spin back the banished Crystron Tristaros. From here, our opponent is a hop, skip, and a jump away from lethal, so I think we are good to just scoop it up here. That was an unfortunate game 3. Opponent showing us they had an Ashen and Nibiru. Yeah, we were never playing through that. Nothing we could do. Oh my goodness, so many interaction points. Well, that was a highly unwinnable game 3, but honestly, Deck feels pretty good. I'll analyze my thoughts a little bit more in the wrap up. I said at the end of the last game, that was a pretty good set of games. I enjoyed playing almost all of them. The Pendulum games got a little irritating in the middle because my opponent was just kind of upset the entire time at Droll and Lockbird and was just venting about it nonstop, which, as I said before, don't do that kind of thing. But aside from that, how did the deck feel? Well, I certainly like the feel of the deck. This is one of my favorite decks to be playing. Obviously, I came back to it as the first thing that I came back to. I will be back to playing a new deck next episode, but I just really needed to come back to this deck, get some more reps under my belt. I'm contemplating playing this off camera a little bit, getting some more practice in so I can stop making so many baseline level misplays. There were some pretty seriously bad ones. Going into Ki-sikil Deal when I had 0 Lil-las left in deck was really dumb and prevented me from getting to a Fiendsmith line in that game where it mattered. But other than my own personal misplays, the deck plays really well. There's a couple of minor things. Shared Ride should not be in here. This should either be Mistaken Arrest or just a completely different sideboard card. Maybe some more bullets to find off of the triple tactics thrust or something like that, but Shared Ride has just felt really terrible. We're playing a really dense quantity of hand traps. There's like 18 or so in here, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, there's exactly 18. I counted them correctly. Uh, but that's just still not that much for Shared Ride to feel good. Most of the time, when you're shared riding, you would much rather have a Mistaken Arrest there. And, sometimes Mistaken Arrest can suck a little bit, but this deck doesn't actually do very much tutoring. The only tutors you have are Secret Password and Sunny Snitch. Oh, and I guess the Engraver, but that isn't always particularly necessary, given how easily this deck can spit out a Light Fiend. But I really have been enjoying it. I think maybe I knock out a copy of Lil-la Sweet, replace it with a copy of Lil-la Treat, because not having access to Lil-la Treat did come up before, and it's just generally a fine enough card as a one-of. I maybe put in another copy or two of Nibiru the Primal Being. I could even see cutting the Lil-la Treat idea and just running 2 more Nibirus, but ultimately I think that it's fine either way. I can see arguments for cutting the secret passwords to be copies of Signet Mining. This deck lives and dies on really thin margins a lot of the times, so I just really don't want to be giving my opponent a really good Ash target that discards a card. So there's give and take there. If Droll continues to see hugely relevant play in the metagame, I will probably switch the secret password to be the Signet Minings. And if Droll is particularly prevalent wherever you're playing at your um, local game store where you play all the time, or if you're noticing Droll a lot on ladder, then swap out the secret passwords for Signet Minings. And you probably only want 2 of them. I think I can probably pretty confidently cut a copy of Secret Password from this deck and just have one less starter, one less thing that dies really hard to Droll. But other than that, I'm really liking it. Simul Archfiends feels like it'll be really good in some certain contexts. I just have never had the opportunity to resolve this card, but deck feels great. I love playing this deck so much. Playing Twin makes me really happy. So thank you all so much for watching. Remember to please like if you got this far, subscribe for updates, and comment what you liked or didn't like about what you saw. Do what you can to boost the algorithm. It helps a lot more than you think. And if you'd like to talk to me directly, or support me financially, there are links to both of those things in the description. As I mentioned in the previous episode, the link to talk more directly to me is a link to the Entity server. So if you are interested in the Entity archetype and seeing what kind of heinous brews we're cooking up, feel free to click that link and join the server. Toodles!